Peace to everybody. This story is about Paris Jackson, the daughter of the late Michael Jackson, and its title is "This the Reason Why Paris Jackson Went to the ER?" And as you can see here, the beautiful Paris Jackson. Paris Jackson did not attempt suicide. She reportedly accidentally cut her arm with kitchen scissors. So it was just an accident. It's nothing major. Um, because the news media said, oh, she tried to commit suicide, and that's not true. But now that you know the real truth, that she accidentally cut her arm with the kitchen scissors. As we reported earlier this month, Michael Jackson's daughter denied she tried to end her life after TMZ reported otherwise, with the outlet claiming she was taken to the hospital and placed on a 5150 hold. So TMZ, they lied and said, oh, well, she tried to commit suicide. And now that we know the truth, that it's not true, you can't even trust TMZ anymore because they're making up lies too now. According to DailyMail.com on Thursday, sources potentially revealed the real reason why the media personally went to the ER. Per insiders, Jackson accidentally sliced her arm during an out of control night of partying. So it was just an accidental thing that she did, and it was out of control partying, but she didn't really mean to do that. Paris was partying really hard that night, but that's nothing unusual for her. It turned into a pretty crazy night, and she had been acting a little out of control, but she says she accidentally cut her arm with kitchen scissors, and it wasn't a suicide attempt. Her friends tried to help, but they couldn't stop the blood, so they called 911. And so it was a big party, and of course, when you're in your 20s, you're gonna get all buck wild and everything else, and it's just how kids are in their 20s. They just want to have fun, and they don't really mean no harm too much. So that's all it was. So I don't know what. And of course, her friends tried to help her to stop the blood, but they couldn't. So they had no choice but to call 911. At the hospital, Jackson reportedly continued acting wildly, which prompted doctors to keep her in for observation for at least 3 days. So Paris was a little out of control. She was acting a little bit wildly, and I know she don't mean to, but when you see blood, yeah, you're gonna go totally ballistic. So the doctors decided to keep her for 3 days. However, her people intervened and promised to get her into rehab instead, so she was released. But Paris believes she is fine and doesn't think she needs rehab, and now that she's 21, it's her decision whether to go or not. So, yeah, nobody can really make her do anything that she wants, and she just turned 21. And I would say happy birthday to Miss Paris Jackson. And, so now, since nobody can make her go to a rehab, it's up to her only if she wants to go or not. Nobody else could tell her what to do. As of this writing, she is 20 and will turn 21 on April 3rd. So, yeah, it's like a few days away. She will turn 21. And like I said, happy birthday to Miss Paris Jackson. On the contrary, Los Angeles police confirmed they attended an attempted suicide call at Paris's house. Additionally, a 911 dispatch call revealed how officers went to the residence to deal with a psych, psychiatric incident. So the police went to her house. Of course, the dispatch had called for them, and so now the police had to um deal with the psychiatric incident, and I know people are just lying, lying, lying on Paris, like they do on her father. Desperate this, Despite this, her friends told the publication they do not believe she was suicidal and that the call was construed, whatever. So it was just, I guess it was a misunderstanding. So her friends are saying, well, she's not suicidal. So, I mean, why are people just not leaving her alone? I know she don't like being in the spotlight too much, but jeez. The source explained, the problem with Paris is that the way she has been brought up makes her very mysterious, even to close friends who speak to her every day. She lives by this mantra that her dad told her, which is truth is fantasy and fantasy is truth. Michael always told her to keep things private and keep people guessing. So she has initially not been clear about what happened on the night, but nobody in her inner circle is worried that she is suicidal. They all think this is typical. Paris just partying a little too hard. Yeah, that's all Paris is doing. Was just partying a little too hard. And her father, Michael Jackson, yeah, he told her to keep things private because it's none of nobody's business. They don't need to know everything. Okay, so the more stuff Paris keeps private, the more the people are going to keep guessing of what she is about. While pals were concerned when they saw the blood everywhere because she has had issues in the past, they now believe her that it wasn't a suicide attempt. Yeah, so it was just a fake report saying that Paris Jackson tried to commit suicide. And the mainstream media, they love to make up lies, all this fantasy stuff, and that Paris Jackson tried to commit suicide and do this and do that. No, that's not true. That is a lie. In regards to how Paris is reaching to leaving Neverland, the documentary where accusers Wade Robson and James Safechuck detailed the alleged abuse they suffered at Michael's hands. The insider said, well, first of all, that's a lie because Wade Robson and James Safechuck, they weren't telling the truth. They were lying to tarnish his legacy. That's all they did. And plus, they want money. And, and the Jackson estate left them out of it because they don't know them too well. So all the money goes to the three children, Paris, Michael, and Blanket, and that's it. It was never going to go to the Wade Robson or James Safechuck. And of course, when I did a research on them, yeah, those two were smiling. And so that was to let me know, they were lying on camera the whole time. Of course, she is upset about the allegations against her dad and everyone being up in her business, but not suicidal. Some of her friends would like to see her go to rehab because they think the whole incident was a cry for help, and they just want her to get any help she might need, but they are confident that she'll be okay. So, like I said, it's up to Paris if she wants to go or not. And if she chooses not to go, you can't make her go. Nobody can. Not the doctors, not anybody. So, you know what? They're just going to have to take several seats and leave her alone. Over the weekend, a TMZ source said Paris in a much better headspace following her reported health scare, and she has been spending time with and taking advice from people who generally care about her. Yeah, so that she's taking a lot of good advice from people who cares about her a lot. And she just don't need to listen to the negativity anymore. She's sick of it. I don't blame her. I would be tired of it too. I would just throw him out of my face or throw him out of the house or away from the building or whatever. Speaking of which, she has been in regular communication with her younger brothers, including Blanket, as well as longtime family friend Macaulay Culkin. So yeah, she's keeping in touch with her younger brothers, and her longtime friend who is really her godfather, Macaulay Culkin. Because I when Michael decided to make him her godfather, he was happy about it, and that's who Paris can look up to if something is bothering her. She could talk to Macaulay Culkin about anything because that's her godfather, and that's who Michael decided to make, and it was a wonderful thing that he did. So I'm hoping that these lies will stop soon with Paris Jackson because she did not try to commit suicide. That was a lie. TMZ, they gotta go. They switching words around. The mainstream media, they're switching words around, saying, "Oh, Paris Jackson tried to commit suicide." No, don't believe none of it. Paris Jackson is happy. She's doing what she is doing. She has a wonderful boyfriend that cares about her, and everything else that is going for her. Leave your comments below. I am out.